Jiu-Jitsu originated in Japan. It was the original fighting art of the samurai classes. When the feudal times sort of slowed down, the samurai had no fights to fight. They were getting into a lot of trouble street fighting, not having much to do with their skills. So a guy called Kano came along, introduced a rule set, a way of sort of living, a set of rules, and put that all together, came up with judo. One of his top students, Maeda, who's a jiu-jitsu and a judo fighter, travelled the world, ran out of money, had to raise money. The only way he really knew how to was taking prize fights. So he didn't disrespect Kano, he called it jiu-jitsu again. He ended up settling and helping set up a Japanese colony in Brazil, which is where he met the Gracie family and started teaching sort of Carlos originally, and then he taught his brothers that style of jiu-jitsu, which is very similar to judo, but with a few things that Maeda had picked up along the way. In Brazil, they had Vale Tudo matches, which pitted different styles and different fighters against each other. The Gracies used these and the Gracie Challenge as a way to sort of perfect their art and keep it efficient, and making sure they only trained the moves that did work and got rid of the ones that didn't. And so they ended up beating most people up, most of the styles. The jiu-jitsu won, and then they had a challenge at the academy where they'd give anyone who could beat them $10,000, and I think they kept the money. It's real. It's honest. There's nowhere to hide. I've done plenty of traditional martial arts and seen plenty of stuff going on where the instructor stands at the front of the class, tells you what you're doing, tells you how to do it, tells you that if he does it, he'll kill you. And then you look at him, it's like, seriously? You can fight? And the thing with jiu-jitsu, it is real. You can't hide. There's no hiding place on the mats. No matter how tough, how big your ego is, how tough you think you are, when you roll, it all comes out. Okay, so the big tough guy is getting tapped by the little dude who trains twice a week who works in the office. It shows you what actually matters and what's real. You see people give up in tough situations, and it's like, that's how they are outside, and they learn to deal with it. You learn to deal with stuff that makes you uncomfortable, and that transfers into your own life as well.
Start rolling, you take your first grip of someone's collar, something clicks, you change as a person. The people you meet, your competitions you compete in, it just changes your life, and the journey never stops. It just continues and continues and continues. Even when you get your black belt, but there's a saying that when you get your black belt, the journey is just started. It's not when you get your white belt and you get your black belt, it starts all over again. So it's just a continuous journey. A lot of other martial arts, like I said, I used to box. When we used to spar and put these things into practice, I couldn't hit my good friends as hard as I could in the face, because you've had out of training partners. But with jiu-jitsu, you can apply what you're doing 100%. When you do these techniques and you're catching the people that you're rolling with, that person didn't want you to do that to them. It works, and that's what attracted me to it: the purity and the fact that you can put into practice what you've just learned against a fully resistant opponent. And that's what I love about jiu-jitsu. It's the unassuming. It's the people you think would never do it fall in love with it, and it becomes their life.
It's all about sort of self-defense, body control, and the fact that I'm quite a small guy. I like the fact that rolling with somebody that's slightly heavier than you is you have more of an advantage than you would in, say, boxing, kickboxing or Thai boxing. So I really enjoy it.
You can go 100%. You can when you tap somebody out, it's like you're saying, okay, you just beat me, you killed me. Yeah, that's it. It's over. It would, I broke you. I think with Thai boxing and boxing, no disrespect to those sports, which are amazingly awesome. I think when you definitively tap someone out, it's it. You lost. Yeah, if you can't accept that, you have to you have to just get your ego in check and go, okay, I've got to learn how to lose a bit better. It's good, humbling. It's a very challenging part of my life, but also really rewarding as well. I think the best thing I like about it is the way it highlights the positive things that you can do and emphasises the things you need to change. It's effective, it's intelligent, very cerebral kind of sport where you have to think about what you're doing. To be good at it, you have to think about it. Strength can come into play, but it's a much better feeling to be a thoughtful process in jiu-jitsu, I think.
I think it's quite an honest form of martial arts. You can't really come here and pretend to be good or sort of, there's just no like BS, if you like. You have to you just do what you can do, and if you're not as good as someone else, that's fine. But it's a sort of very sort of personal martial art, I suppose. You're there trying to explore your own abilities and sort of get better in your way. And I think it's just a really it's a great form of exercise, obviously. But I think it's more about the journey. For me, it's that sort of personal progression.
I've done a lot of martial arts over the years. I've been in martial arts for 14 years, and there is no other martial art that encompasses so much, but with such realism. It's practical, the practical adaptation of the techniques that you're working. So if you can do them in the class, then you can do them. It's not just theory, it's practical. That's what I love so much about it.
Thing that you find a lot more in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than you do in a lot of more traditional martial arts is that there's a lot more sparring. So it's not just learning the techniques. You really, really got to work to put them into practice when you're sparring against someone. It's all very easy to do the techniques and drill them and practice them over and over again. But until you start sparring and you get that sparring time on the mat, it's really, really difficult to make it, live.
The fitness side of it, I think the camaraderie, I've met a lot of good guys down here, a lot of good guys and girls. It's honest, I find it a very honest thing, and I like learning, just keeping in shape. Just the whole jiu-jitsu lifestyle has calmed me down, it's made me a lot more placid, I feel a lot more in control and calm about myself, and just generally have a better and happier outlook on life, I think. Yeah, I've not come down here just to train, blah, 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 get my black belt, go home, thank you very much, job done. I've met people, I've learned, I've grown as a person, and I've got fitter, stronger, etc., etc. But I've met people from different walks of life, in different situations, that have got different problems, this, that and the other. And it's part of the journey, and it's teaching you to cope with things, and it's just, another chapter of your life, I feel.
BJJ attracts to me the fact that every fight lands on the floor, be it on the street, be it in a competition, be it whatever. And the BJJ is the ultimate martial art for the floor work, for the grappling. And it really appealed to me. I love the fact of the kinetics of how the body movement works. About you don't have to be a big powerhouse to do it. I'm 90 kilos and I get chucked around in this club by 70 kilo guys. It's amazing when jiu-jitsu works.
It's taught me a massive amount of self-discipline. It's rounded me off well as a person. It sort of makes you concentrate on every single aspect of your life in and out of the gym.
Just the fact that you never stop learning. It doesn't matter how good you get or how long you've been training, you're never going to know everything. The sport's still developing, so it's impossible to know everything. That's what I like about it.
BJJ is every day you learn something. If you don't learn, if you make some mistake, you still learn. So I come advanced class to learn more, and I come to beginning class to appreciate more, to put my techniques daily by daily, and to help other people as well.
I just found that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really helps me keep focused. One of the big battles that I had in the past was smoking. And I actually found that, doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it may sound like a cliche, but it really is a lifestyle. Because you either just train and you look after yourself, or you're just gonna come to training and you're always tired. So in a way, it helps you discipline yourself and accomplish those personal goals that seemed at times a little bit unaccomplishable in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing, is the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. It takes over every part of your life, and I think it has to, in order for you to excel in it. You know, it can't just be a hobby, it has to be a lifestyle, you know. So yeah, every part of my life, you know, even the philosophical side of it, you know. I mean, it's in jiu-jitsu, you know, massive part of it is being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Well, that, you know, that transfers across just to everyday life as well, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's that's the great thing about it. It's, you know, it's not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
My point of jiu-jitsu at my age was purely for keeping fit. So I was bored of running, I was bored of the gym, and I wanted something different. So obviously the concept of MMA came along, and I fancied trying that, and I googled a few clubs and stuff, and Andy's came up, and so that's how I started BJJ really.
I actually started jiu-jitsu after a bad relationship, so I was recommended to as a form of self-defense. And as the relationship ended, I needed to get back on my feet, and it actually was the only thing that could keep me focused and keep me sort of on the right path to fixing my sort of mental side of everything. So as I got stronger mentally, I got stronger physically, and that's actually when I discovered MMA. So I really did jiu-jitsu first, and that was always my main sport, and then the punching stuff's just part of it, you know.
Jiu-jitsu I chose due to the fact of me being the smaller guy. I wasn't necessarily always smaller. I was 90 kilos lifting big heavy weights. I wasn't really a fighter, so I thought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is for the smaller man in order to dominate his opponent as such in a self-defense sort of scenario. But as per Jiu-Jitsu over Thai boxing or mixed martial arts or so on and so forth, I just find it more development martial arts. You feel pleased at the end of every session regardless of how you've done. You know that you coming down to Jiu-Jitsu has been worthwhile and what it was meant to do.
I've tried kickboxing and Wing Chun before, and they were good, but I think really the essence of it is the sparring aspect of it, being able to come in, you know, and pit your sort of abilities, the things you've learned, the things you can do against someone else in a sort of true and real environment. You know, whereas with other martial arts, I mean, obviously some you can do that in sparring, but what I found in kickboxing and Wing Chun when I was doing it is I didn't really enjoy the sort of repetition of like the katas or whatever they're called, and you know, whereas here, you know, you learn your move, you learn your technique, you drill it for a while, and then you get the chance to put it into action, and you either can do it or you probably can't do it first of all, but you know, you get that opportunity, and when you finally pull something off like an armbar or a guard pass for the first time, you know, when you first start doing it, well, you're hooked then, you know.
Again, that's another benefit of jiu-jitsu, is that it communicates to everyone regardless of their lifestyle. You know, it doesn't matter what your status is outside, it's just everyone, when you step on the mat, everyone's on an equal playing field.
It's a huge mix, and probably a mix of people you won't get anywhere else. Like when you come training, you take your work clothes off, you take your uniform off, you put your gi on, you're all equal. No matter what your background is, where you're from, who brought you up, yeah, everyone's equal. And I think it's unique in society that, like, you're not judged. Yeah, you may be judged on the belt around your waist or what colour gi you got on, but it's judging in a different way. You're not pigeonholed, you come from there so that's you come from there so that's you. This is jiu-jitsu, yeah? It's like everyone's equal, so people can build bonds and friendships with no pretense. Like we've got a lieutenant colonel who trains. There were a load of squaddies training as well. They didn't know until they went in the changing room and he put on his uniform. And then they were all saluting, and it's like he told them that's not what happens here. But this is training, it's separate. But before then, they were equal. They had no idea who he was, but they still treated him the same. So
every day there's classes, and there's also afternoon classes 3 times a week. That is absolutely brilliant for someone like me who does night shift, works a mixture of days and nights. I never know which day of the week it is, and I find that because there's training going every day here and everybody's just so helpful. If I have a question, people just help me. You know, they just take me to the side, they give you the time to really explain what you need to know. That really makes a huge difference, and it certainly helped me in the few competitions that I did enter.
I think Andy Roberts' gym, I've been with him since I started doing jiu-jitsu, and he doesn't just look after me personally, but he's bothered about the club. He wants people to turn up and train. He has it's just a good attitude, you know, it's a good family kind of place. You can turn up and everything's a very relaxed atmosphere. You can still get hard training if you want it, you know, there's still guys that train really, really hard, but if you want to just take it easy and have a nice flow roll with your mate every now and again, it's also fine. There's no pressure to compete. If you want to compete, you know, he'll push you as hard as you want to be pushed. I think the balance is right. It's a very enjoyable place to be. It's good.
The percentage of people that are good to roll with is a lot higher than the percentage of people that's not. So it's luckily, I mean, that is one of the only places. There's a lot of places where everyone's just there to kill each other. You know, I had a coach that once told me, if anyone new comes into the gym, use them as bait. And I was like, I don't think I can do that. You know, because what if it was me going into that gym? How would I feel? You know, so I like to look at it from both points of view. But here, you don't get that. You just get, if someone new comes into the gym, then everyone helps them, everyone tries to help them learn together. And it's a much more progressive atmosphere and a positive learning atmosphere, rather than just trying to kill each other all the time. Because you're just gonna get injured, and then no one's gonna learn anything.
Andy Roberts is not just an academy. Andy Roberts has learned from the best, i.e. Roger Gracie, Renier Gracie, Hoist Gracie, and it's not about how far you are with regards to your belts. No one judges you on whether you're a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, so on and so forth. Everyone is mates here regardless of grade, and everyone's willing to help each other.
Some really good coloured belts, some really good brown belts. Obviously we've got Andy as black belt. Jay and James are two other instructors who are very, very strong brown belts. Also other brown belts that are not instructing here, but I think instructing at other affiliate clubs. Also really strong. There's purple belt and above, you're not having an easy ride. There's a really good girls team here now as well, which it is brilliant.
I travel around a lot. I've been to a lot of different clubs in different countries. In England, in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines. You know, I've been to a lot of clubs, and there is nothing like family. That's it. It's a family atmosphere. You just feel like you're coming home. It's literally home from home. You know, I could quite happily just sleep here, wake up in the morning, and just carry on rolling. You know, be well happy, and I can pretty much guarantee that most people here would be the same.
Well, for me, I moved to around this sort of area, and I was looking online, and this was one of the gyms that I sort of saw. It looked pretty decent. I mean, Andy's, you know, he's got some good credentials, Roger Gracie black belt, and you know, he's won some medals and things like that. So I thought, you know, it would be a good place to come and try out, even if I didn't stay here for a long time. But coming here and meeting the guys and training here, and you know, feeling sort of how good people are and the sort of level, the different range of sort of belt levels, and the instruction from Jay, James and Andy and Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's just second to none really, isn't it? You know? Much as it's the rolling and the sparring and the drilling and learning the techniques is coming down here, and sort of the social aspect as well. You know, the guys, so many guys from different sort of walks of life, and just, you know, the banter and the sort of, it's just a nice environment, you know, and then you get a brilliant opportunity to sort of beat each other up as well, so that's never a bad thing, is it?
You know, I can hand on heart say there's absolutely hardly any egos here, and obviously when you have a fighting club, there's a lot of egos, a lot of big guys want to win, and you know, it's that kind of thing, but there's nothing like that here. It's one of Henzo's favourite sayings is, you know, if you tap, you're not losing, you're learning, and that's genuinely what it is all about.
I've only got positive things to say about pretty much everybody down here. You know, it is a good vibe. There's no attitude. There's no ego. You know, it's just a great bunch of guys and quite a close-knit family, I would say.
Everyone here is amazing. That is also a merit to Andy and his ethos of no ego around here. There really isn't. Everyone from the brown belts to the purples to the blues, everyone is just so friendly, eager to help, and most of all, eager to learn. That's the one common thing that everybody's got here, and that seems to be the number one thing over ego.
Without a doubt, this place is, and I know I keep saying it, but it has changed my life. The people here, through Andy himself, you know, they've given me so much and changed my life completely for the better.
Yeah, I've made quite a few friends. Yeah, they're all great bunch of guys. We all sort of stick together whenever we're watching people fight MMA. We'll be together, we'll be cheering them on, so it's a nice close group.
I mean, now, you know, there's a few of us meet up for nights out, stuff like that. We tend to go to competitions together, you know, and people are helping each other out and sharing tips, and people are coming down there outside of classes and rolling and training together, and, you know, it's that sort of vibe. Everybody, you know, and there's generally nobody down there that I don't get on with. I think everybody's a good person down there, so, you know, it's that side of things that I think it's a good camaraderie. Everybody can learn off of everybody else down there, and everybody seems to want to help everybody, which to me is a brilliant thing. You know, there's no arrogance or ego or anything like that, and I think that's a great thing.
Other guys and girls are family members. They're my brother and sisters. Regardless of what time of day it is, day, night, I know I can give them a shout, give them a phone call, ask them if they wanted to go out for a cup of coffee just for a chat, or ask them if they just want to have a roll or run through some things. Everyone's willing to make sacrifices for each other, and that's what family is all about. You stick together. Your family is, like, as they say, blood's thicker than water, and it's not just an academy. It's, you know, everyone should carry the Andy Roberts logo after their name because it is part of the family. It's part of the family basis, and Andy Roberts as a teacher instills that into all of us as this is what you've got to be, and it's then fed down and not even watered down. It's become thicker as it's spread out amongst all the grades, and yeah, you can't ask for a better teacher, you can't ask for a better academy. So.
I think the main thing this place is growing is because I love it, and hopefully that, and we've got good guys around us and good guys who help out, and without the help of the other people we wouldn't be able to grow how we have, but they've been able to take on classes when I can't and stuff, and it's just enabled it to grow. And I think we've got a good little sense of community and people like training here, hopefully, but I don't think we force anyone to do anything, and people get their friends down, and it's the biggest way we've grown is people bringing their friends. They want to spread the benefits they've got, the fitter, healthier, enjoyment, and they spread that to their friends, and it's turned into what it is. I think my biggest thing I like about teaching is it is seeing people improve, seeing people do what you have taught them, being able to them doing the moves against someone who's resisting. You've taught them how to do it, and then you see them enjoy it. It's that the growth of the people in the academy from coming in, not ever training, being quite unhealthy, like smoking, drinking. We had one guy who he was training a little bit, doing other stuff before he started, but the recession hit, and he decided that instead of spending 60 quid a month down the pub, going drinking every night after work, that he was going to train here, and he embraced it. He trained every night. His wife loved it because he wasn't going to the pub. He was still out just as much, but he became fitter, became healthier, and enjoyed it. And I think that's the biggest satisfaction, is seeing the benefits of people. Like, society isn't the healthiest place, and I think jiu-jitsu gives you an escape and also gives you a reason to become healthy. It gives you a purpose. If you want to train every day, you can't smoke, you can't drink heavily, you got to eat well. Yeah, and jiu-jitsu is one of those things where you can't take lightly. You can't do one session every 2 weeks without seeing everyone else progress past you. It's like you've got to hit it hard, and it becomes part of you, and in a positive way.
I think one word for me is just family.
Life changing.
Pure class.
Family.
Team spirit, definitely.
Happiness.
Epic.
Family.
Awesome.
The best culture I haven't seen here in the UK. That's why I come to here.